Right now on NBC 26 Live at 5, a 19-year-old man in Calumet County dead after suffering a gunshot wound. Plus, reaction from people in Hawaii after a false alarm creates chaos across the state. And too cold? No problem, as some people in northeast Wisconsin geared up for a bike race. Those stories and much more, but first, we are under a storm alert. Gino Recchia with a look at your first forecast. Gino.
Yeah, Mo, we got a winter weather advisory and winter storm warning in effect for parts and really everyone in parts of northeast Wisconsin. Depends on where you're living. If you're along Lake Michigan, you're under a winter storm warning. Farther inland away from the lake, you're under a winter weather advisory. And if you're kind of wondering why that's the case, well, it's all about because of Lake Michigan. We have this winter storm warning. I'm thinking about 5 to 10 inches of snowfall starting late tonight, continuing until perhaps Tuesday morning. And roadway conditions very poor. Now, isolated totals, maybe 10 to 12 inches. That likely will be on the tip of Door County. In terms of the winter weather advisory, thinking about 3 to 5 inches of snowfall. I'll have more on this coming up with a full forecast.
Thank you, Gino. Also new tonight, a Calumet County man is dead after suffering a gunshot wound. NBC 26's Max Grossfeld has that story.
The Calumet County Sheriff's Office got a call asking for help on County Highway Q just before midnight for a 19-year-old man who had been shot, according to a press release. Deputies say Flight for Life took the man to ThedaCare Regional Medical Center, where he later died. Law enforcement says they're interviewing witnesses, but the public is not in danger. New Holstein Police, New Holstein First Responders, Kiel Ambulance, and Gold Cross Ambulance all helped during this incident. We reached out to the Sheriff's Department for a comment, but a deputy told us they wouldn't be releasing any more information until tomorrow. Reporting in the town of New Holstein, Max Grossfeld, NBC 26.
A Manitowoc County woman is dead after a two-vehicle crash from last night. Officials say 45-year-old Amanda Hughes of Kiel crashed into a 97 Chevy pickup driven by a 23-year-old woman with a 26-year-old passenger in the car. Both of them were from Chilton. This happened on Highway 151 west of Eaton Road in the town of Eaton. The county officials say Hughes died at the scene. The driver and passenger from the Chilton area were sent to a local hospital. Covering America now, the Trump administration ending special protection for Salvadorans in the U.S. without visas, many who even have families here. Patrick Altman spoke with a family now facing that uncertain future.
At the end of a dirt road in the mountains of El Salvador is a family facing a gut-wrenching decision. Rogelio Galmadez has lived in the United States for the last 17 years. He may soon return here. The Trump administration announced in January they are ending the program that allowed over 200,000 Salvadorans like Rogelio to live legally in the U.S. In 18 months, he could be deported. Rogelio worries about the impact the change in policy could have on the already impoverished and crime-ridden country. The worry is that if there were a massive deportation, he says, this would become, I guess, I would call it a hell. It's a disaster. Everyone wants to work, but there isn't any. So Rogelio has come back to El Salvador for a few weeks with the money he earns working as a landscaper in New York to finish the home he is building here, should he return for good. So he's telling me that because many other people are thinking that along the same lines as him, that they might need to come back, that it's really hard to get workers right now because so many other people are fixing up their homes. But Rogelio's biggest concern is his 3 children, all born in the United States. His eldest have been to El Salvador just twice. This is 6-year-old Jocelyn's first visit. What do they know about El Salvador? ¿Qué saben ellos de El Salvador?
Totalmente nada. Totalmente nada.
Rogelio says he doesn't want to live in the U.S. illegally or run the risk of having his family separated. So he may soon move his children, all U.S. citizens, back to El Salvador, one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Even here in the remote countryside, criminal gangs terrorize the population. Barbed wire fencing surrounds Rogelio's house.
For us, it's going to be really hard. And I keep telling him, I like it here, but I wouldn't live here.
They may have no choice. Rogelio would hope to provide his children a better life in the U.S., but is afraid of what could happen if he's deported. The day I'm not with them and they're not with me, he says, I think they're going to suffer, and I will too. Rogelio drives his children to the airport to fly back to the U.S. He will remain in El Salvador a little while longer to finish their home, just in case. They don't know what the future holds but they say they will do whatever it takes to stay together. Patrick Ottman, CNN, San Salvador.
For nearly 40 minutes on Saturday, Hawaii's 1.4 million residents thought they were under a missile attack, at the same time also trying to keep themselves safe. People hid in their bathtubs to cover at different stores, some even going inside a storm drain. Now, cell phone video that you see right here captured frantic hotel guests packing a lobby in Waikiki after they got the alert on their phones that morning.
There were people crying. You could see people were really frightened. I sent a message to my grandkids at home, and it made me realize, my God, I could have never seen them again.
And for 38 minutes, visitors and locals alike went into panic mode until state emergency officials finally issued a second alert saying that the missile threat was actually false. At least 20 people are dead in the aftermath of a dangerous mudslides in California. Search and rescue crews discovered the body of the 19th victim, 25-year-old Morgan Christine Corey, on Saturday morning. Her 12-year-old sister was found dead earlier in the week. Flash floods started the mudslides early Tuesday, destroying dozens of homes. Crews are still looking for people, but as of now, 4 are still missing. A disturbing warning for parents about a new trend online gaining thousands of views on YouTube. It's called the Tide Pod Challenge. In an effort to help spread the word that pods are not for eating, Tide got the help of Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski to spread the word.
What the heck is going on, people? Use Tide Pods for washing, not eating.
And looking at some of the dangers involved, doctors say simply biting into the pods could burn your mouth and esophagus and could make you very sick. Covering Wisconsin now, passengers on a Greyhound bus call out for help after another traveler claimed to have a gun. It happened on a bus carrying about 50 people from Chicago to Milwaukee. Illinois authorities pursued the bus on I-94 and had to use spike strips to stop it. They shut down the interstate near the Wisconsin border while they secured the bus and took the suspect into custody. Now, witnesses said Margarito Vargas Rojas got into a fight with 2 other passengers. That's how it all started. Vargas Rojas reportedly claimed he had a gun and threatened to use it. That's when passengers started to call 911.
Male Hispanic, short, black hat, making threats that he's going to kill everybody on the bus. Is on a Greyhound bus. He has a .32 in his hand.
But no one was injured, and authorities haven't found that gun yet. Vargas Rojas was charged with making terroristic threats, a felony, and disorderly conduct. Private attorneys in Wisconsin are pushing for a change when it comes to pay increases while representing criminal defendants who can't afford a lawyer. The Wisconsin State Journal reports that the state Supreme Court has scheduled a May 16 hearing to listen to arguments about boosting hourly pay to $100 an hour. Right now, it's only $60 an hour, which is the lowest in the country. Lawyers say that rate isn't enough for a serious defense. Wisconsin Democrats are banking that the anti-Trump backlash gives them a shot to win a special election for a state Senate seat that's usually won by Republicans. Republican Rep. Adam Jarko and Somerset Democrat Patty Shatner are vying for this open seat in northwestern Wisconsin's 10th district in a special election coming up. Still ahead on NBC 26, this cold weather isn't stopping some people from going for a bike ride. See why after the break. But first, what's the weather going to look like for the work week? Your forecast up next.
And now, your Storm Shield forecast from NBC 26.
The weather is quickly changing, and we are seeing snowfall on the horizon as early as this evening. A winter storm warning is in effect all along Lake Michigan from Door County down toward Sheboygan County until Tuesday morning. And then for the rest of northeast Wisconsin, a winter weather advisory, and that will be continuing until midnight on Tuesday. So the system snow will be ending first, and then the lake effect snow along Lake Michigan. It's not just us, but also other parts of Wisconsin all across the state, excluding Burnett and Douglas County in northwest Wisconsin. Down to the south, even the Chicagoland area, we'll be seeing some of the snowfall. This is where it is right now, encompassing all of the western part of the state and the southern part of the state. but it's advancing up into northeast Wisconsin, and we will be seeing that snowfall in a very short time. The reason why we're seeing all of this is from two centers of low pressure, one up to the north, one down to the south. These two will be fusing together and combining into one center of low pressure, and when that does so and ends up happening, it will be occurring right over the central part of Wisconsin, and that will also intensify the storm system and provide us with several inches of accumulation. As for the closer look, you see this little kind of circle right over the radar dome of Green Bay. What this is representing is saying, remember yesterday we had the sunny skies, we had a high pressure overhead, dry air was in place. Well, the snowfall, as it's reaching towards the ground, it's evaporating. But with a lot of moisture with the storm system, just wait about an hour or so, and we'll start to see some of those flakes flying in the Green Bay area. Visibilities, however, that's a good indication to let us know if we're seeing any snowfall activity. Down towards Fond du Lac and Wautoma, starting to see some light flurries, and also in terms of temperatures, with the very cold temperatures in place, we're expecting a light and fluffy snowfall. So no heart attack snow. You could honestly just use a leaf blower to clean off your car tomorrow morning as you're heading out and about. So here we go, timing it out, 6:30, most of that snowfall advancing over the western half of the viewing area. Then by about 8:30 or so, everyone is seeing the snowfall all across the region. Now, notice over Lake Michigan, you see these little purples and pinks? That represents some lake effect snowfall enhanced with this storm system, and that will increase the totals along the lakeshore of the western side of Lake Michigan or eastern part of Wisconsin. The highest amount of snowfall, I think, will be right along northern Door County. As you could tell by midnight, that band just hugging along Sister Bay down just east of Sturgeon Bay and over the open waters of Lake Michigan. But this band will start to drift westward as we get towards the morning hours tomorrow. And you could tell right by Kewaunee, Sheboygan, Manitowoc, we're at 6:30 in the morning, and then towards Green Bay at 8:30. So we continue to see the snowfall through the afternoon and evening, but the snow will start to taper off to flurries away from Lake Michigan. But you see right along the lakeshore, winds blowing in out of the northeast behind this storm, so that means additional accumulation is expected. How much are we talking about here? Well, I'm thinking about 3 to 5 inches. Good chunk, but then about 5 to 10 inches along the lakeshore and right along the tip of Door County, perhaps 9 to 12 inches of snowfall. So definitely the shovels and even the snow blowers needed. 15 degrees for the overnight low tonight, winds out of the southeast 5 to 10. For tomorrow, expecting highs in the 20s, 25 degrees. Inland, a little bit lesser snowfall accumulation. You can tell by that 7-day forecast, we'll be holding on into the teens and 20s. More sunshine later towards the end of the work week, but more winter weather is on the way Saturday and Sunday, highs into the mid-30s.
Yeah, I don't mind that. The Thursday and Friday, you got that little time to enjoy the nicer weather a little bit.
Right before we have to deal with another system.
All right, thank you so much, Gina. Well, still ahead, this cold weather not stopping some people from going for a bike ride. See why after the break. Plus, are you familiar with the term hygge? It can be pretty helpful this time of the year. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This cold weather isn't strong enough to stop people from going for a bike ride. Dozens of people kicked off their Sunday morning with the snow-crowned Fat Bike Series. At the camp in Suamico, there were 3 categories for fat bike races, depending on your skill level, and a relay race as well. And there's more to it than even just riding bikes.
We actually are working with NEWT, which is the Northeastern Wisconsin Trail Group, and we are raising funds for them that goes directly back into the trails.
A good cause, certainly, and organizers say over 200 people showed up for the event. It can be tough to find activities to do when it's really cold outside, like it is today, but it's not a challenge for the Oshkosh Library. Today, the library introduced a concept known as hygge. There's no exact translation to what it really means, but people say it means being cozy and enjoying things. Organizers say the goal is to help people pump the brakes on life and appreciate the smaller things. Today, people got to relax, listen to music, drink coffee, and talk to other community members as well.
We want you to sit and think and ponder, give yourself space to explore the idea of the what if, the idea of getting lost in a book for the whole day. So it's a good Sunday for this to happen.
And if you do want to check this out sometime, this event will be held 2 Saturdays in February as well. And coming up in sports, the Bucks struggle in Miami. Plus, guess who Brett Favre is rooting for this playoff season? Chris Barrier is going to tell you after the break.
And now, NBC 26 Sports with Chris Barrier.
Not a good time for the Bucks to start a losing streak, but after a fourth quarter collapse against the Warriors on Friday, the team stayed cold against the Heat this afternoon in Miami. How warm this place looks, though. I mean, can we go? Can we please go? Okay, maybe not. Sneaky Giannis Antetokounmpo gets James Johnson to leave his feet on the pump fake, give him the hoop and the harm. Bucks up early 38-32, but things changed in the second half. Hassan Whiteside flushes the two-hand jam. Miami up by 10. Giannis did his best to keep the Deer close. A beautiful give and go with Malcolm Brogdon. The Freak finished with a team-high 22 points, but the Bucks couldn't stop the deep ball, and I mean deep ball. Goran Dragic shooting that one from the beach. He had 4 threes, 25 points. The Heat win 97-79. The Bucks now hanging on to a playoff spot in 8th place. On to the Packerless playoffs. Can you believe it's January 14th, and we're talking about, wait for it, the Jacksonville Jaguars? That's right, Blake Bortles and the Jaguars looking to punch a ticket to the AFC Championship game, but can they really beat Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers? I don't know. First quarter, Jags already up 7-zip. Roethlisberger throwing to the sideline. He's picked by Miles Jack. Hit the road, Ben. That sets the Jaguars offense nicely. You mow like that. Enter Leonard Fournette, 18 yards on the hurdle to the far pylon for his second touchdown of the game. It's 14-0 Jacksonville. You read that right. What gives? On to the second. They call it Saxonville, and this is why. Down goes Big Ben. Under pressure, ball comes free. Talvin Smith scoops up the loose goose and 50 yards to pay dirt the other way, making it 28-7 Jags. Just before half, Steelers making a ball game again. Launching a 36-yard bomb. That is Roethlisberger to Martavius Bryant in the end zone. 28-14 at the half. Jags running back Leonard Fournette hurt his ankle late in the first half, came back in the second, and he looked just fine. His third touchdown of the game, and Saxonville is headed to New England for the title game. 45-42 the final from Pittsburgh. Some other NFL news. Reports today suggest the Detroit Lions have their new head coach. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that New England Patriots defensive coordinator Matt Patricia is in line to take the job. He was one of 6 candidates, which included Packers associate head coach Winston Moss as well. Now this move will reunite Patricia with Lions GM Bob Quinn, who used to work in New England. The move cannot officially be finalized until after the Patriots season is over, and that might not be until after the Super Bowl, the way things are going. Speaking of the Super Bowl, look who's rooting for the Vikings. Brett Favre spoke with the Minneapolis Star-Tribune through email on Friday and said, quote, "I want to see the Vikes win. It's their time." I don't know. What do you think about that, Packers fans? Well, the Vikings are currently beating the Saints 17-0 in the NFC divisional round game. We'll have highlights of that one tonight, as well as the season-ending Cheese and Packers to break down the new front office regime here in Titletown. It's all coming up at 10 o'clock on Sunday Sports Rewind. Hope to see you there. They're back.
All right, welcome back. More than 41,000 third graders from around the country participated in a contest, but alas, only one with a green thumb can claim the victory. The award goes to Tino Bruno from Stockton, California. Tino grew this 29-pound giant cabbage, and now his thumb is turning green. It's a printed green. The National Bonnie Plants third grade cabbage program awards the winner a $1,000 saving bonds that's going to go towards education each year. Bonnie Plants trucks oversized cabbage plants to third grade classrooms whose teachers sign up for the program online. The company has proven that these kids can cultivate, nurture, and grow giant cabbages that are larger than basketballs. That's a lot of coleslaw you can make of cabbage rolls.
St. Patty's Day is coming up in a couple of months here.
Perfect timing.
Chop that sucker up and you can feed the whole city of Green Bay.
Yeah, probably even
Hope
more.
You like cabbage.
Probably more,
Yeah. All right, so with that, you probably need that energy for shoveling because we have a bit of some snowfall on the way here. We have a winter weather advisory and winter storm warning in effect along the lakeshore. You'll be seeing higher amounts of snowfall. Now, the snow is pretty close by. It's starting to advance up to the northeast, and we only have probably another hour or so before it starts to snow across the Green Bay area. So that sounds to be pretty good news for folks who like the snowfall. And I know there's quite a few folks who are asking, hey, the snowmobile trails, I need some more fresh snow after that nice melt off. Well, as you can see, we have plenty of snow all throughout the day on Monday, so take it easy as you're driving out on the roadways.
If you do want to eat cabbage, you eat it inside. Though.
Yeah,
Is cabbage known to provide energy?
I'm hoping.
I hope so.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching us at 5. We'll see you back here at 10 rather. Have a great night.